Well, thank you very much for joining us for another DSA discussion, and what a topic we've got today, the environment, crucially important. I think before I introduce you all, I'll just say that, you know, for me, I think the thing that's been amazing is the change we've seen in how people travel and move around. You know, just from, I used to dart everywhere, and now obviously we're doing this virtually, so that has to have an impact on the environment about how much we're not moving, etc. And I think, you know, it'd be great to hear your views about what you're doing from a perspective moving forward, but also just from a personal perspective. You know, will we see in years to come the change of the environment because of this impact of the pandemic and how little we've moved, or in actual fact is the damage so great that it's going to take more than the time? And I, you know, for me, I'm really interested in the fact that I don't think we'll ever stop the world moving as much as we have now. So if this hasn't impacted it, those targets that we're setting ourselves won't even really start to dent it. So it's going to be interesting to hear your views on that bigger topic. And also, when people look back on the pandemic, as traumatic as it's been, actually, will we get some good out of it? That is that we have helped the environment in some way by cutting the planes and by stopping the movement. So joined today is my amazing panel. We have Scott from Essens. Hello, Scott. I'm going to come to you shortly. We have Lee from Revitalize and Louise from Young Living. So welcome. Thank you very much for joining in this debate. And yeah, I'm going to kick off. And Scott, it would just be great to hear from you about what you've done, maybe from a personal perspective, but also Essens as a business, as to kind of tackle the environmental issues that we face.
Yeah, sure. I mean, the environment is on my personal agenda. Taking business out of it, I am very, as much as I try to be very eco-friendly, so to speak, but also we incorporate that very, very heavily into our business. That comes from head office down towards our branches, where we're all across Europe. But it is very much stemming from head office, but then people like myself will implement things in our own branches. Certainly in terms of COVID, because we are so, as a business, we already are very, very remote. We don't have that much travelling. I'll travel to my branch in Dublin, but that's pretty much it, and occasionally to head office. But we didn't actually have to adapt that much in terms of working remotely. It's already how we operated. But we try to do as much as possible here for it, regardless of COVID. We kind of moved away from the almost the old school, you know, like posters saying turn the light off, because people get blind to it. They're not invested in it as much as they were, even though it is a massive topic of conversation at the minute. But then we have to balance it. So, like, for example, with us, our biggest contributor to the environment is we use bubble wrap to protect our products whilst they're being shipped out. And it's working with what we've got. We always seek to improve it, and we have done through that, but keeping the very fine line of, we want the products to get there in one piece. We don't want to wrap them in tissue paper and then they all be broken when they get there. So we explore as many options as we can. We went from bubble wrap to biodegradable bubble wrap, and we now use like air pockets that are made from recycled potato peel. So we are constantly looking to evolve, but also, when I said earlier about the notices about the light switches and stuff, is get the team involved in it, because it isn't, even though it's the main focus is the environment, putting the business spin on it as well, is we are effectively paying for light switches to be on. So it is the overall, the bigger picture of what we contribute to. But also, I think we get a lot of feedback from our members and our customers. So if they see something that we could do, we will always try and implement it. We shred all of our used cardboard boxes and reuse them. We reuse as much as humanly possible. And if there is something that we can change, we will always seek to implement it, because I think it's a massive task, and I'm very conscious of the impact that we do have as a business. From my two branches, but also from head office, we're involved in lots of environmental partnerships, and we try to keep that going as much as possible along with head office as well.
Mm-hmm.
That's fascinating. I didn't even realise you could make air pockets out of potato skins. I mean, I'm going to Google that as soon as we finish this. I'm off to have a look at what else I can make out of potatoes. It was new to me,
but that's when I was meeting with our account manager. The topic was about environment. I was like, I'm conscious because I don't want to fill all these boxes with bubble wrap or whatever. And it was them who brought it to me and said, "Well, this is from potato." I was like, "Brilliant!" so then it's a quick fix, but it has such a huge impact.
Yeah, I've been putting sour cream on mine and roasting them, but I've obviously this got on a whole trick.
Yeah.
So it is so good. And it's interesting to hear you say it's a personal thing for you as well, the eco, because I think it's so much easier. You're bringing the team involved, you're taking people on that journey, and I think the more you can make people not accountable, but the more that they are part of the delivery process and they're able to sign up and get involved, I think it becomes less of a chore then, and it becomes more of a community to work together to help the environment.
Yeah, that's it. And I think that's really important to gain. Obviously, from previous jobs I've been at where it is this, and that's it. They just put the posters up and there's no follow through with it. Whereas we're doing it on a daily basis. Everyone's conscious, whether it's someone who's picking and packing orders or whether it's myself, we're both equally as conscious to it. And I think the biggest thing is our members are conscious to it. I think because it is such a huge topic of conversation now, our members, if they got a box just full of bubble wrap, they would feed it back to us and say, is this really necessary? And that's what I mean, everyone is bought into it along a full way down the chain, from me all the way down.
It is fabulous because I think, as you say, if you're challenged back by your customers, then you know you're doing the right thing, and that's that whole moment, isn't it, of just recycling, re-going and re-going. And I always feel very guilty when I'm ordering and they say, "Do you want your parcels?" And as quickly as you can. No, put them all together. I can wait a couple of days. Nothing's that desperate.
Yeah.
Nothing's that desperate. No, Scott, thank you so much. Les, if I can come over to you, what's been happening with you at Revitalize?
Oh, right. Well, I feel like the new kid on the block, to be fair. We started trading February last year. So we picked probably the most challenging time to start launching a business. Our first sales went through at the beginning of February. So,
well, listen, if you can make it work now, you are going to be flying when we come out of this.
We're very lucky because we're a small family-run business. Our aspirations are to grow and obviously do well on that side. But one of our owners, one of the family members who owns the business, is very much into this type of lifestyle. He's a vegan, and the business came about because he really struggled to find decent quality CBD that was reliable. Started looking into it and then thought, there's a business opportunity here. We can sort of get into this side of it. So that's how the business was launched, and they spent about 8 or 9 months looking at that side. We launched in February, then very quickly the world changed. We all know. And it's really been helped when we're talking about sustainability, because the core people who are involved with the business have that mindset as well, because we sell CBD, which is very much a sort of left of field type of product. It's becoming more known, but it's a lot of people, when you talk to them about it, have a sort of a very blurred vision. And what that did was that gave us, right from the start, we had to have sustainability and eco-friendly attitude towards everything we did. And then because lots of channels started to close down, so we couldn't get products from overseas. Quite simply, we couldn't get materials. We had to source them locally. Has worked wonders, because we now pretty much get everything within the UK. Right. We had a nutrition supplement that used to come from the Northern Europe. Once everything went bad, with supply chains, we found somebody 15 miles away from us in a relationship who could make the product, and the carbon footprint has just diminished. The lead times are shorter. We don't have to hold as much stock. We can literally drive down and pick it up ourselves if we need to. But what we've done is we've managed to drive all of our shipments into the most sustainable way. So we get in the stock as we need it. We can rely on it arriving on time, so we don't have it sitting on the shelf. And all these things safe because they don't have to be refrigerated as long and all these different things. So those type of things have worked fantastically. A bit like what Scott said, he had the potato link for his packaging. We use collapsible cardboard boxes. So when a customer receives the box, they can break it down, and it's great for putting returns in. They just make it back up. We use paper tape to seal the box, and the labels that come with the shipping. But inside the box, infill, we use what's called a starch peanuts. So they just look like a peanut. They look like polystyrene. They're made from starch. You literally put them in the sink, turn the tap on, and they dissolve.
Amazing.
You know, and that came about with a company that was 25 miles away from us, who we arranged to get the cardboard packaging. They said, oh, we do this. We know that you're interested. So it's funny how, as doors closed, other doors opened and presented so many opportunities to really drag what we do right down. We've pretty much eliminated plastic. There's only certain things like pumps on bottles and certain things where we can't find a replacement at the moment. So we're having to go along those lines, but we've removed plastic and replaced it with glass. We've taken pumps off the top of things for, say, topical creams and replaced them with an open lid where they can put the hand in and sort of do it that way. So we use forums a lot because we're 100% online because we've never had a chance to do anything else. We literally have not had a chance to do any face-to-face work at all. Everything's done on Zooms. But as we've grown, we've got the people who've had the inclination, and we've invited people to be part of different steering groups. One of them is the sustainability side of the business. And we get so much feedback. It's really good, you know, and the people feel involved. And what we did was we put a reward scheme in place. So when someone comes up with a good suggestion, we give them credits so that they can use them and you know, they can purchase products to try for themselves and different things like that, or do whatever they want. And that's been really well appreciated. But for us, it's been financially very sensible, because if we got a business in, you know, we're paying fees and consultancy fees, that would cost a lot of money. Whereas we've got people within the business who have fantastic ideas. So it's a whole approach to the business has been, it's been brilliant. I must say, because we've had so many challenges, just seeing people take advantage of the fact that, like I said, doors are closing and other ones have opened, and we pretty much now 100% get everything from the UK. We're really proud of that.
And so you should be. And I think that's lovely, though, actually, as you say, it's almost using that Brexit moment, isn't it? And, you know, with loads of companies, actually, it's made us maybe slightly more sustainable as a country because we've had to look inside and there's delays going backwards and forwards. And I think it's interesting in that actually, and as you say, 15 miles up the road, there's someone who said, we tended not to look, did we? You know, you take recommendations or you Google it or you find someone online as a supplier and then you drive it down. And I think that for me, this, you know, I try to look for positives out of every situation. I'm absolutely a glass half full. I mean, there's always room for more in it, but I'm definitely
I'm like that. But it's great.
Yeah, I think that moment where actually we've now started to work, and we have all started to work and collaborate a bit more together, and that kind of sustainable. And plus, it's quite nice being able to go and see where you're buying it from and see that it's being made properly and that it's, you know, that it is done with a clear conscience. So I feel that we've got some form of positivity out of that we all work. It's helped us very much build a really strong community. All of our distributors are sort of, because we're new, that they're heavily involved. There's none of there's not the span of the size of the business. We're not a big corporate entity. It's really, really possible to be close to them. And there's so many great ideas. And CBD is very much lots of cottage industries, like a lot of health and well-being is. And because it's such a small market sector that's growing, but it's new, people are working out relationships between them. But it's worked fantastically for us. And like I say, we use the distributors, we reward them, we give them free gifts and all these different things just for the contributions they make. And it's worked really well. I could sit and talk for 25, 30 minutes about all the changes we've made. And most of it, like I say, wasn't a grand master plan. Our business plan was written and put down on the table in February. We're ready to go. And within 6 weeks, we had to tear it up and start reinventing ourselves, because everything we planned to do, or a lot of what we planned to do, was out the window because, you know, COVID came and we had lockdowns and supply chains closed down. And,
and it's been a challenge, but I'm sure the other guys will agree. It's been fantastic to be able to work on new relationships and have to work extra hard and look for people. And then when you find them on your own doorstep, and you're literally 10, 15 miles away, they're in the same county. It's mad, isn't it? It's mad how it falls. But yeah, it's really good.
And I think this time, before we went into lockdown this time, beginning of 2020, I was quite bullish and gave the sector I said between 10 and 12% as an industry growth. And we've seen treble digit growth as an industry. But I think that's down to not only, as you say, the innovation. So, touching on sustainability. And yes, I think we've all become, as a sector, we've become much more sustainable. But actually, I think we've proved our innovation beyond recognition, simply because, you couldn't do face-to-face selling. You couldn't go out and do this. And we had to rip the rule book up, as with so many other businesses. But I think rather than burying our head in the sand and saying, as a social direct channel to market, this doesn't work anymore, we kind of looked and did.
Yeah.
I know Essens have had phenomenal growth, as have Revitalize. It's just, it's been this amazing path of growth, which I like, and I think it shows how diverse we are. And I think the fact that out of that diversity, we've also managed to improve our footprint is phenomenal as a story, because to be able to strip out those, those negative parts and make it better and greener is great. So thank you, Les. Thank you, and I wish you all the very best. And now as it eases and we come out of lockdown, you'll be able to dust off that plan and see how it changes.
Retrieve it.
Goes from there.
Get it retrieved.
Exactly. So Louise, Young Living, tell us all about it and how it's been for you.
Thank you, Susannah. This is a little bit of a different story to the others. This is a global story, but interesting nonetheless, I think. So Young Living is based in Utah, America, and I am based in Chiswick with the European team. So we are producing essential oils, which could be singles like juniper, peppermint, lavender, and blends such as Gentle Baby, Joy, Christmas Spirit, and oil-infused products for the kitchen, for the bathroom. And we're the world leader in producing them and distributing them by or via 6 million members worldwide. We were founded in 1994 by Dee, Gary and Mary Young. And what I want to talk about a little bit today is the importance of sustainability to our business, and to our members, because the whole point is everything we do is plant-based, and therefore the better the environment, better the planet, the better our products are for our members. It's as simple as that. So it is absolutely fundamental to what we do is our protection of the environment. So it's not only about minimizing our impact on the environment, but it's about having a positive impact on the environment. And I've got some examples that I want to share regards how we're going about that. We operate under a guarantee which is seed to seal, and this has been decades long quality guarantee. So from when the seed goes in the ground in Provence for the lavender to the moment that the bottle is sealed, for example, there are 3 pillars which are sourcing, science and standards, and the quality of what we do is vital to everything that we are about. So what we do takes longer and it costs more, but it is more beneficial for sustainability's sake and for the environment. We have 20 farms, more than 20 farms actually globally, and a number of partner farms, and they are all embraced with this umbrella standard. So we don't take shortcuts, and we don't work with people who want to take shortcuts. We built a new head office in Utah, and it enabled us to be very specific about our needs. And to me, it's a green temple. So there are solar panels. There's an HVAC system which optimizes energy conservation. There's limited lighting outside, and so on. So there was an ability to get this right. And to a point that was made earlier, we sourced construction materials locally. So it was a local build. It's the same thing that we've already heard about. The other thing we are proud about is our foundation, which is about empowering young people around the world. This is not necessarily about environmental sustainability, but it is educating the world's young about the future. And it's our opportunity to educate them into good and proper ways to be ambassadors for the planet. And then other projects which I think you might like, in Mona in Utah, we have a lavender farm and distillery, and it was redesigned to save water. So in redesigning it, we have saved 1.1 billion litres of water a year, which for the mathematicians is 400 Olympic-sized swimming pools of water saved every year.
I knew that. As soon as you said that, I was like, that must be about 4 Olympic swimming pools worth.
This question,
That's
you never know.
Phenomenal amount of water. Phenomenal amount.
Yep. And we have an orchidarium in Ecuador, which is based on the premise that 85% of orchids in Ecuador are endangered. So there's a project to mass propagate endangered orchids, which is great. Bees in France, we have beekeepers who are ensuring that half the honey that bees produce is remaining for them. Did you know bees eat their own honey? Here's a point: they need it. More obviously, reforestation. Last year we planted 16,000 black spruce trees in Canada, and we planted 20,000 blue spruce seedlings in Idaho. So lots and lots of examples, butterfly way stations and so on. So it's all led to 2 great awards last year: the Green Company of the Year by the Business Intelligence Group, which is American, and the Green Business Award for Waste and Recycling, also in America. But really proud of the fact that in Germany we gained the 2019 Green Dot Award for recycling efforts. And this was to honour the fact that in everything we saved in terms of our recycling efforts, you could have shipped. So with the amount of carbon dioxide saved is the point, you could have grown, harvested, stored and transported 90,000 kilos of local apples is the equivalent of the saving made. So that was a great thing to receive. And about our future and what we're doing and what we're committing to, we will receive, all staff and all members will receive tips on Earth Day to jog the mind, because as we've said already today, I think Scott was saying it earlier, sometimes this whole project seems overwhelming. Actually, it's down to individuals. So if we build up, this is the way that we approach things in the same way. And there's 3 things: reduce, reuse, recycle, for us absolutely key. I must say our packaging also is like a Rubik's Cube, like a very tight jigsaw puzzle, so that when the pack comes, there is no waste at all. Our challenge to our business is, how do we do that better? How do we eliminate plastic 100%? Again, it's been said today, this is tough. It's tough stuff, but now's the time we have to do it. And our members 100% demand it. They're not interested in plastic, and we're not interested in plastic. It's how to move that forward. And so that's our commitment for the future.
Louise, thank you so much. And do you know what I find really fascinating about our conversation today is actually everybody's being driven by their customers and by their employees as well, which I find fascinating, because I think if you go back 5 years, it was, as you rightly say, Scott, it was posters on the wall, it was shoved down the throats, it wasn't. But I think that we've had more time to reflect, and I don't know about you, but I think that the last year more than ever, I think we've been made aware that the planet will do what the planet wants to do, and we are just lucky enough to be allowed to be here for as long as we're allowed to. And I think more people have become accountable for feeling like we owe something back and we should take less. And I think
it is, like you said, like a few years ago, people were obliged to do something as a company, and that's what I was saying, when it now seems to be everyone's on the same page. It's not a fight for me that want to implement these, because head office wants it. They want the exact same things. It's like Louise said, like our head office it's got a green terrace and all our walls are made with plants, and it's if everyone's singing from the same hymn sheet, it's so much easier to implement it, and especially if that is from head office right the way down through to the customers. Whereas I think the tides have certainly changed now, and like Louise mentioned with Earth Day and it is much more on the agenda now, and a lot more people are invested in it.
Yeah, completely. And it must be very interesting for you, Les, as well, coming from that, that real startup side of things, being able to do it from the get-go, but still have people come back and say, we could improve this, we can do that. Because I think it's those moments, I think you've all had interesting challenges from coming into Europe for you, Essens, and that sort of thing, and for Les from the startup, from the get-to-go, and from you, who's sometimes the older the business, the harder it is to change, isn't it? Because actually there's more moving parts than being able to do. So I think it's phenomenally interesting. And one question to you: do you think you will go? I mean, the DSA have been running a campaign that we're not going to go back to normal. We're going to go forward to better. And I think from this there will be less travel, there will be less people moving around. But I also see the importance of that human touch as well. And I, for one, am greatly looking forward to having a conference where we can get people into a room, because I think from that, although it's movement and it's traffic, you get more innovation, and you do get that feeling of being able to motivate and inspire far more than as great as these are. Actually, if someone cuts in, also after you sort of lose that ability to have that real buzz environment going. So but do you think you'll kind of Scott, do you think you'll do your conferences differently? Do you think that Essens will adopt a different way of working and maintain some of this?
Definitely, and I think it is like I said before, is the wider picture of it. Like pre-pandemic days, quite a lot of our staff live locally to each other, so they'd car share. Whereas that has gone out of the window now because of COVID, but certainly we've got no plans to revert back to how we were operating, and
forward to better. That's it, exactly.
We're not stopping. We'll just keep going. As something new comes to the market, which is even more beneficial to use, we'd look to use that instead. It is constantly evolving.
Yeah, amazing. It has been fantastic to catch up with you all. I, for one, Scott, need you because I'm desperate for a new perfume. Desperate because I can't get. World has changed. You start to wander in and sniff things. Now I'm going to need to come and see you. And Louise, I take Crabtree on a daily basis. One of my the thing I'm a full believer in, all of the smells around and what you do. And interestingly, having just come back from an injury, I'm a huge CBD fan now. So having never taken it before, I've just started understanding what it can do in the journey. So from a selfish point of view, it's been fascinating listening to all of your businesses, and the fact that I get to buy it and it's all sustainable is amazing. So thank you so much for joining us. It's been fantastic to have that discussion. And let's touch base again in 6 months' time and see when the world's opened up again. If we've got even better, or if some things have slipped or we've changed some bits, or we found the next potato skin, which still fascinates me. So Thank you very much indeed. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, pleasure. Lovely to catch up with you. And I'll see you, hopefully, physically, see you all at some point soon.
Okay. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.